What up, guys? Yo, Fruit Punch CB here. Back with some more Chaos Head Noah. Yeah. There we go. Oh, freaking A. I forgot to do this. Boop. There we go. And then click this. We're back in business. What up? Is my Udachi poster... Excuse me. Am I too far? I feel too far. I'm gonna get closer. Oh, now I'm too close. Fuck. It's whatever. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, that's good, I guess. Okay. There was an artist I like called Higashi Matasima. Higashi Matasima was super famous, and his circle had huge lines at every event they attended. His new Bloodtune Dojin, which had come out in the summer, had sold out in an instant. I wanted to go, but those events were always way too crowded for me. I reluctantly given up. I thought that I could just buy it from Manga Darake, but I'd been naive. They sold some copies there, but they were gone in minutes. The thing were going for tens of thousands of yen, above retail online too. Freaking net resellers, hope they just all die. I'm sorry, Takumi. We gotta make that bread, bruh. Someone who buys difficult. Yeah. Sorry, Takumi. I thought I had to give up entirely. But on @Chen yesterday, I happened to see a post saying that Manga Darake had gotten a new shipment in. That's why I come here right after school. It's pretty good. I got new headphones. And they're pretty good. They're called the Onkyo A800. They're discontinued extremely rare headphones. And I like it. It is pretty good. Hey! Never mind, they're all NPCs. I said a silent prayer in front of the store and shop and headed inside. I searched the doujinshi corner as thoroughly as I could. I went back and forth again, searching and searching. I'd be like that too when I try to look for something like, it's not here. It's not here. It's not here. But I couldn't find it. Sniffles. Was it sold out already? I glanced quickly at the register. The cashier was a girl. She wasn't very cute, but she looked friendly. Damn, dude. Why you gotta be like that? Asking a cashier if they had something in stock was extremely high level technique and one I never used in my life. The reason was simple. I didn't have the courage. Especially since Higashi Matasima new doujin was called Sedatan Extreme Cost. Not a chance. You think that's is that, I don't know what that means. Is that etchy? Excuse me, do you have any copies of Sedatan Extreme Cost? If I ask a female cashier that, I'll look like a pervert. Yeah, not happening. In the end, I gave up and left. Dude, vocals on this headphones like really powerful. Holy shit. I can really feel Takumi breath. You're fucking slobbering my ear holes. I don't know if I like that. Or maybe I should head to the cafe. As I walk along, I'm certain of what to do. Maybe I should lower it down. Don't worry, I'll lower down my side. That's it. Now it's like I can't hear. I like to hear the background. As I walked along, uncertain of what to do, I caught a glimpse of a certain sword I recognized in the corner of my eye. A distinctive shape, like it was split in two at the edge. At this was the same that girl B, that is Senna, had been holding. I could see its tip peeking above the crowd of people walking down Center Street. It's coming toward me, so I quickly ran to the nearby arcade. I hid in the shadows and watched as Senna walked by. She was heading to the station at a fast pace, the same scary look on her face that she always had. It didn't seem like she noticed me. That said, after experiencing for myself how embarrassing it was to carry a D-sword down the street, it was hard not to be impressed by her. Wasn't she embarrassed at all while carrying that? The cops had to have stopped her at least once, right? I'm sure of it. Senna was getting further and further away from me. Where could you get a cool D-sword like the one she has? The one I bought didn't glow and didn't look that cool. Honestly, I was pretty dissatisfied with it. Compared to mine, Senna was incredibly cool. I bought the D-sword as a good luck charm, mostly. I'd been scared to death and was ready to cling to anything that might offer salvation. After what had happened with Rimi, I felt a little better, but the situation hadn't really changed. Shogun, Yua, I still had a lot of enemies out there. That's why I wanted a stronger looking D sword. Of course, part of it was that I was an otaku and we like to collect things. That is true. I feel like no matter what it is, otakus like to collect stuff. I like to collect sneakers. I like to collect headphones. I like to collect figurines. I like to collect Blu-ray DVDs. I don't know why. I just like to. I said drawn by Senna D-sword. I found myself heading out into Scramble Crossing. I bit my lip. Crap, I hadn't wanted to come near the station. I didn't even want to go to Center Street or go to school. I only done it reluctantly because I had to. Being surrounded by people I didn't know made me feel like I had nowhere to run. It felt hard to breathe. As usual, the place was packed. I started to feel sicker and sicker. For a while, I just stared at the ground, trying not to throw up. When I looked up again, the D-sword was gone. I thought I'd seen her walking over at Hachiko's statue. The crosswalk lights on Scramble Crossing had just turned green. Many people began to walk in many different directions. The area inside the crossing was pure chaos. It shocked me that so many people could each be going in their own direction without slamming into each other. Looking at it, I realized how impossible my delusion of an empty Scramble Crossing the other day was. There probably wasn't a single second in a year when this place was empty. Why was I chasing after Senna anyway? I couldn't even ask the cashier at Manga Doreki if they had a doujin in stock. How was I supposed to be able to talk to that scary Senna girl? She might even be an enemy. If I walked right up to her without any defenses up, there's no telling what she would do to me. I was being crazy. I should just go home. But just when I turned to go... What the fuck? Taku, run! I noticed a white chain lying on the ground. And while I couldn't be sure, because the other pedestrians were blocking my view, it looked like it led all the way to the other side of the Scramble Crossing. What was that about? It was an awfully long chain. Was it some kind of construction thing? But it didn't look like anybody was doing any kind of construction. It was hard to believe somebody would just leave this chain here. Maybe it was for a TV or movie shoot. No, they wouldn't do a shoot with all these people around. Has somebody just left it here then? A huge chain like this? It would be a hassle to just bring it here. Either way, it was in the way of the pedestrians and cars. Confused, I looked at the people around me to see how they reacted. It looked like you could easily trip over the thing, but nobody was paying it any attention. I rubbed my eyes and stared at it again, wondering if it just hallucinated it. But the chain was still there. Okay, we can read this for a little bit. Optical illusion. What the fuck? Alright. It was creepy, so I didn't have the courage to touch it though. It wasn't a cheap plastic thing. It was made of tough looking metal. How long had it been there? Normally, I would think it was a trap. I assumed something terrible was waiting for me at the other end of it and run away in fear. But for some reason, I couldn't stop thinking about where it might lead. A kind of oppressive force was taking over my mind and telling me I needed to follow it. I stumbled to several people as I went, but I managed to make it to the other side of the crossing before the light turned red. The chain led to an old train car, painted dark green, that was sitting next to the Hachiko statue. 2 chains? Uno chain. I tried to think of the word 1. Mono! There you go. Mono chain. Fuck, what's 2? Forgot the word 2. Homo means a lot, right? Mono 1. Homo might be 2. What's 3? Fuck, I don't remember. Whatever. The train car wheels have been removed. It was more like a monument that's something that could actually use. This car was open to anybody who wanted to go inside, if I remember right. Damn it, you got me thinking about it now. Monologue, single. Homologue is 2. Directions. I forgot how you say 3. Sextet is 6. I forgot 3 to 5. The chain led through the car, open door. Oh, I remember this in the anime. Inside, there were a lot of people waiting around Hachiko, and nobody was paying any attention. They didn't even seem to notice it was there. I thought this happened at nighttime though, right? It didn't seem like there was anybody inside the train car either. I gulped and looked inside. Yeah, it's her. I remember this in the anime. Iconic. It was only then I realized it was a trap. I didn't understand why it had taken me this long to notice. The train car had seemed empty, but there was actually a single person inside. Sena Oi was sitting on one of the red seats, her legs crossed. Alright, you know what time it is. What? She still have her clothes on! How is this possible? Her sharp gaze was locked firmly onto me. For some reason, she had a popsicle in her hand, the shade of blue. It was Guragari-kun, wasn't it? No, Guragari-kun wasn't important right now. The strange thing was, I didn't see her huge D-sword anywhere. It was so big, where could she have hidden it? Dude, this headphone's insane. Oh my god. Holy fuck, that was powerful. Instead of the sword. Wow, this headphone's really... That was cool. I like that. I have new headphones, so I may be impressed for some moments. Excuse me on that. Instead of the sword, the white chain was coiled up at her feet. I realized that when we last met, she said something about being at the train car. This must have been what she meant. So she's been the one to put the chain out there. Had she actually walked around carrying that huge thing? It had weighed at least 10 kilograms. It was probably over 50 meters long. Let me fix my beard for her. It was something about this girl that was just beyond my understanding. It wasn't normal. Could she be Shogun? I got scared and tried to run, but then her sharp gaze came flying at me.
Hi.
Okay. Yes, Gochujin-sama. Suddenly I stopped. What if she suddenly leap at me with her D-sword? The idea scared me to death. I'd be so terrified, I'd probably do whatever she wanted me to. I took another step inside the car, but then I stopped again. This was just what Senna wanted me to do. It was like a moth to a flame, or a moth caught in a spider web, or something. This wasn't safe. What was I doing? Walking right to my death. I should run. Running would be much safer. I could tell from the chain that she was incredibly strong. She could just twist her hand a little and draw me helplessly to the ground, breaking my arm. And that wasn't all. She had a D-sword too. If that huge, heavy sword hit me, I'll be dead. She's been waiting for me. She was planning something. I had to get out of here, now! I turned around to run. But the door to the train was closed. I only just come in. Just a few seconds had passed. So why? Without a second, without any sign, had the door been able to close? I just stood there helplessly. I couldn't understand what had happened. When had the door closed? Who had shut it? That wasn't an automatic door. Or even if it was, I would have heard a noise when it closed. Senna had been sitting on her seat, not moving at all. It hadn't been her. And of course, it wasn't me either. I hadn't even touched it. I wonder if the manager of the car might be somewhere nearby, but I looked outside the window and didn't see anyone who looked like that. No, wait, it didn't matter who shut the door. I looked toward the door at the other end of the car. It was closed too. I was locked in. The only people in the car were Senna and me. What did that mean? A 1,000 negative thoughts came to me. It made me want to scream. Senna spoke, glaring at me. There was nowhere to run. My legs were shaking. If I made a lot of noise, the people outside might notice, but before they could intervene, Senna would kick the crap out of me. For now, the smart thing to do would be to not resist. I gave up and walked over to Senna. Oh! Whoa! Suddenly I realized something. The coil chain that had been at Senna's feet just a moment ago was now completely gone. She must have moved it somewhere. Iconic. But I hadn't heard any sound. And she's been sitting in her seat the whole time. The scene is iconic. I like her lingerie. She got good lingerie on. And even if she had moved it, where had she moved it to? I couldn't see the chain anywhere in the car. Senna asked me another strange question, completely ignoring my confusion. I shook my head quickly in confusion. The expression only grows sterner. Finally, she looked away from me, sighing a little, nibbling on her popsicle. When she released me from a terrible gaze, I almost collapsed. I went to sit on the seat, but she'd probably say something. I gave up on the idea. Oh, hallucination! Right? Was that what she meant? Then yes, I've seen it. I followed that strange white chain all the way here. Delusion! What was she talking about? She don't want to know my delusions. Alright, let's put some clothes back on her. We gotta stop using our powers for evil. With great powers come great responsibility. Huh? Should I have had one? Of course I didn't. This conversation wasn't making any sense. Senna glanced at me before jerking her head in the direction of the window. Outside the window? People. I saw lots of people. There were even more than there had been a second ago. Just looking at them made my head hurt. People with their heads down playing with their cell phones. People laughing as they talked on the phone. People just standing and watching other people go by. Most of the people I could see from where I was standing seemed to be waiting for someone else. Wait, if there were so many people out there, Then how come none of them thought it was strange that Sen and I were locked inside the train? None of them were paying the train even the slightest bit of attention.
完璧な世界。そこにあると思うか？あるはずがない。エラーは確かに存在する。すべてのものは、人も含めて、電気仕掛けだからな。
Alright, I don't remember the twist of the game. Is that how it goes? We're made of electricity. I guess that's technically true. Alright. Let her eat her ice cream. Alright, let me use my errors then. Oh, much better. Was this her weird personal fanfiction? I mean, I had similar fantasies all the time. It wasn't going to tell her not to have them. All the novels, all the movies, all the anime in the world came from goofy fantasies. So why were the fantasy of the novelist or director okay, but the one amateur like me came up with were mocked? And what's more, think about it. All the great people of history had goofy, childish fantasies. The Wright brothers honestly believed they could fly over 100 years ago. Napoleon actually told people the word impossible is not in my dictionary. He did, that's tight. You shouldn't make fun of somebody for having fantasies. All the history greats had fantasies. The problem was, this girl had suddenly started sharing her with me.
何を見ているかじゃない。何を見せられているか。
Alright, let's put some clothes back on. It seems like it's serious now.
人は体の外からの情報を五感によって得ているけど、その受け取る情報のおよそ 80% は視覚から入ってくる。
Alright, finally! The story officially starts. Not yet, we're still at the prologue. Taku gotta release his D sword. He received information about the outside world.
そして視覚から得られた映像はパルス信号となって視神経を通り脳に送られる。
It was kind of like a phone, I thought. If phone took somebody's voice, turned into an electrical signal, and then sent the information to someone else far away.
電話か。似ていると言えなくもない。
She read my mind! No, that was impossible. Had I spoken out loud without realizing it again?
VR 技術を知っているか？
Yes. Very familiar. Virtual reality. Of course, this time I was careful not to say it out loud.
ビジュアルリビルディング。
Huh? I was wrong. Never heard of that.
アメリカの精神生理学分野で研究が行われている技術だ。生まれながらに目が不自由な人でも目の前にある景色がちゃんと見えるようになる。ビデオカメラのような映像機器を介してな。どうやってという顔をしているな。だが仕組みとしては単純な話だ。ビデオカメラが映した映像も脳を流れる神経パルスもどちらも突き詰めれば電気による信号なんだぞ。要は神経パルスにコンバートできる技術さえあればいい。すでに実際にテストは成功している。ある研究チームが特許を取得済みだ。
A patent. Was that true? It felt like a really well thought out delusion, but what kind of delusion includes stuff about patents?
その特許から読み取れることがある。
Senna turned her gaze away from the window toward me. She crossed her legs again slowly.
ある意図的な情報を神経パルスへコンバートすることが可能なら、人の五感すべて、さらには人の意志そのものもコントロールできるんじゃないか。
What? The train was right in front of Shibuya Station. but it was strangely quiet. It felt like the sound was being shut out. Of course, it was just my imagination, but I remember the empty Shibuya I seen days ago and couldn't take my eyes off the crowd outside.
さっき言ったように、人は電気仕掛けだ。脳だけじゃなく、全身に張り巡らされている神経にも電気が通っている。つまり、肉体的な動きまでも操れるということになるんだ。理論的にはな。
This girl, I was in shock. She was more delusional than even you or me. What she said sounded logical on the surface, kind of, but it was clearly just a fantasy.
事実、特許を取得した研究チームもその方向へと研究内容をシフトしている。あまりに危険すぎる内容だったから、アメリカ大統領が歯止めをかけようとして行政命令を出したくらいだ。
How much of what she was saying was actually true?
いかなる機関であろうと、政府との事前合意なしに人体の機密の研究を行うことを禁じる。それを支援することも同様である。
Senna looked down. She tightly clenched her fist as they rested in her lap.
だが世の中、腐った連中ばかりだ。倫理を無視して、自分の利益のためだけに他者を平気で犠牲にするような連中がな。ヘドが出る。
She put the last of the melting Guragari-kun popsicle into her mouth, then stood up. I stepped back, only to find my back against the wall.
無知は罪だ。知らない方が幸せなこともあるという人間もいるが、そんなのはただの甘えだ。世界を疑え。
Oh, yeah.
仕組みを知れ。この世界は完璧じゃない。
She was walking toward me. I thought she might punch me and tried to shield myself with my arms, but Senna just walked straight past me.
お前の見ている景色は本物か?
She whispered as she passed me, without so much as a glance my way, and then she left the train. What she said? Just like when it closed, the door had silently opened again at some point in our conversation. The whole conversation felt like a strange dream, like maybe it had never happened at all. I watched Senna walk away through the train car window, standing there in shock. She disappeared into the crowd without turning around once. In the end, I never did figure out what she was trying to say. The one thing I could tell was that she really hated the world, a completely typical teenager, I guess. From my perspective, having to listen to all that crazy stuff was just a nuisance. The way she spoke made it sound like she was a teacher giving a lecture. In 2D, the way she talked might be kind of moe, but in the real world, it just made her seem like a DQN. How's that moe? Maybe cootier. Think that's it? But I was glad she didn't attack me. For some reason, she had the air about her that she might slap someone at any time for any reason. I felt like I needed to rest for a moment, so I sat down in the seat where Senna had been sitting a moment ago. Why you gotta choose that seat? 'Cause it's warm. A second later, this DQN looking couple came inside. And soon after them, 3 DQN looking girls came in. Then an old man and a young salaryman in a suit. Long before at all, the car was jammed tight with people. Nobody had tried to come in when Senna was here, so why had it suddenly changed? The voices of the girls and DQN couple were annoying me. I whispered "die" several times to myself, silently before leaving. The beard's too long right now, I gotta trim it. You didn't have to call me an asshole. He admit they're cute. They're all crazy. This man never played Tsukihime before. Tsukihime, they all crazy. Like Yandy are crazy. I guess they're all crazy in Chaos Head too. Now that I think about it. To a certain degree. Except for... I don't know what about Nanami. What was Nanami issue? We'll find out when we get to her route. It's all good. What the fuck is that emote? Even after I made it home, I couldn't get Senna words out of my mind. Of course, I didn't think it was real, but I wonder if I could read without glasses. Let's see. Glasses a little too tight. Of course, I didn't think it was real, but that part about the patent and executive order I could find if I decided to look it up. I went to Grim for help, and we started searching the internet. Grim knew somebody who lived in the US, so we got their help too. Not that I expected to find anything. These days, nobody would believe anything without a source. Excuse me. Shiho was Grim's net buddy. They lived in the US and spoke fluent English, supposedly. They found it, it said. Found what?
Mo もしかしてマジなのか
Grimhand lied to me about all kind of stuff. Usually when he did something like this, he'd make me look like some disgusting mental browser crash link. But he even had a source, and he was saying he invites Shiho. Oh fuck, he's gonna ban him. He seemed really confident. Maybe this time I could trust him.
くそ僕はなんてお人よしなんだ
My heart pounded as I clicked on the link, narrowing my eyes so that I wouldn't be able to see it clearly at first.
なんだこれ
It was a paper written in English, with a strange diagram at the bottom. There was something in the diagram that looked like a human face. It says United States patent. Patent, so it was true. In other words, this was...
アメリカの特許
VR 技術を知っているかすでに実際にテストは成功しているある研究チームが特許を取得済みだ
It was real. I opened one of the two text files that were attached with it. It was a Japanese translation of the article talking about the patent. The Victor Condria University Psychologically Psychophysiology. That's a tough word. Lab is currently working on a revolutionary technology called visual rebuilding. The technology is intended for the field of therapeutics and is being eagerly followed by blind people all over the world. This revolutionary invention would allow the blind to see with the aid of visual devices, such as a camera. To explain in basic terms how it works, the electronic signals generated in the video camera are transferred into nerve impulses. The one form an electrical signal that the brain can read. These signals are transmitted to the optic nerves and through them to the brain. Tests have been successful and a patent was issued.
特許本当に認められてる
What Senna had been saying wasn't just some silly fantasies then. I gulped and clicked on the other file. Official order issued by the White House. 327, 1997. Strengthening protections of research into the secrets of the human body. No organization may do any research into the secrets of the human body without informed consent or support any other organization that includes that conducts such research. This order will go into effect on 3/27, 1998. On earlier, if appropriate legislation passes. William J. Clinton, President. I like that. President of the United States. An executive order from the President of the United States. It was like something you see in the backstory for a movie, but it was real. I clicked on the link too, just to be sure. I could read English even if I couldn't speak it. I was a lot smarter than the DQNs that went to school every day after all. The actual text was more or less the same as the translation I've been given. Bill Clinton? No, it's William J. Clinton. Senna's word echo in my mind.
ある意図的な情報を神経パルスへコンバートすることが可能なら
I remember from the anime, Senna's my favorite girl. I like Senna a lot. And then Chaos Child, I like Miyu a lot. Because she was based on Senna character, basically. And she was pretty cute too. I also like Nono too, though. Nono was also one of my favorites. But that was in Chaos Child. And Chaos said, I think the only girl I like was Senna. I think that was it. Maybe Rimi, but I don't remember too much.
人の五感すべてさらには人の意志そのものもコントロールできるんじゃないか
This whole thing was getting kind of complicated, but knowing what Senna said, and that there was a source online to back it up, made my skin crawl. It felt like there was some kind of terrible secret involved with all this. And what worried me more than anything was the fact that Senna had chosen to tell me this. Did it have something to do with me? The idea of controlling another person's will seemed to, at least. I still hadn't ruled out the possibility that I was sleepwalking. Supposedly the day the third NewGen incident, Crucified, happened, I've been using that account with Shogun to chat at Cafe. And I didn't remember Rimi at all either. I supposedly spent over a year with her as a classmate, even got to hang out a few times, but I didn't remember her at all. Maybe I'd done all that while someone was controlling me. After all, there was no way a guy like me, who could barely talk to a 3D girls, be friends with a cute girl like Rimi. Then he never thought that Rimi looked like Serotan. They both had pink hair. I guess that's it. Just the pink hair. No, I was overthinking it. The thing with the chat, at least, was just a delusion of you as Shogun's with someone else and just trying to set me up. I wasn't sure if he was actually the old man in the wheelchair I seen in front of the 107 building, but it didn't matter. It was even possible that Senna was working with Shogun too. Maybe she was trying to trick me. I couldn't believe what she was saying. I didn't know anything about her, and I couldn't trust her. Senna was no different than Yua. Damn, bro. What? That's what I should be thinking, right, Seratan? What would Seratan say? Oh, she didn't talk back to Taku. What the fuck? Did he lost Seratan? We haven't heard her in a while. The only sound in the room was that of fingers on keys. Yua Kusunoki, thin, slender fingers, were dancing on the keyboard. Her gaze was locked on the monitor. She was typing without looking at the keyboard with barely any spelling errors. They're acting like that's impressive, bruh. What do you mean? She was writing an email. A long one, too. She spent 30 minutes already thinking about what to write, and then going back and changing it. Suddenly, her fingers stopped. She let out a sad sigh, and suddenly pressed down hard on the backspace key. The cursor on the screen began to scroll quickly towards the left. Like, okay. It's because in Japan, right, you read right to left, but then when they type in the computer, it goes left to right. That's pretty interesting. I didn't know that. I thought it would be the same when they type shit. It goes right to left. But I guess they only read right to left. Maybe write a book right to left. But when they type in the computer, it's left to right. Wait a minute. That must be fucking weird. What? Now I'm fucking... wait a minute. Everything she's written vanished in a flash just and went. Wonder how they read documents on a computer. Did they read it right to left or left to right? When it was all gone, Yua brought her ghetto froggy plushie over from her bed and gave it a tight squeeze. It was a habit of hers lately. If she wasn't holding something tightly, the fear would overtake her. She scared the shit out of me. This headphone makes vocals very, I wouldn't say forward, but they have more presence. Like, they're actually, it has more presence. She pressed her head down into the stuffed animal and sighed a little. She whispered to no one in particular and then pursed her lips. She put the stuffed animal on her lap and put her hands back on the keyboard. Excuse me. Letters began to appear on the screen once more, one by one as her slender finger typed. The message was, compared to the one she just deleted, simple and short. When she was done, she hesitated a moment before finally clicking send. The email was sent on its way before she had a chance to change her mind. She held the ghetto froggy on her lap tightly and stared at the monitor for over an hour. She hadn't expected an answer, of course, but there was no sign that one was coming. You think she emailed Taku? Let's see. Room 37 was the same as always. I sunk down into the reclining seat and bit my nails in an attempt to calm my irritation. There was a reason I came to At Cafe 2 days in a row. Well, yesterday and again today. That night, 2 days ago, after I found out that from Grim that Senna's story was true, I got an email from Yua. Yeah, she was sending email to Taku. It was ridiculously enough. A request to talk to me again. Screw you, was what I wanted to say to her. Why would I want to talk to you after you lied to me? I don't have anything to talk to you about anyway. Obviously, this was just part of some new trap. I'm not going to waste time talking to you. Sure, I wasn't used to talking to girls. That's why I got so excited when Yua tried to be friendly with me. But behind my back, she thought I was an idiot. And then there was the weird delusion of hers. Sure, I had delusions myself, but I didn't bother other people with them. But her, that crazy bitch, had practically called me the NewGen killer. I never forgive her. I decided to just ignore it, but there was one problem. The email said she'd come to visit the base. She knew where it was, so if she wanted to, she could. That's why I come here to At Cafe, even though it wasn't a school day. I went to take the D sword from me for protection, but unlike Senna, I like to carry that thing through the center street. Spending almost half a day at the Net Cafe was kind of exhausting though. The reclining seat was comfy, but there was even a shower in the place, but it wasn't as relaxing as the base. And the biggest problem of all was that Sedatan wasn't here. After 2 days holed up in the At Cafe, I come to realize how much she meant to me. I want to go home now, but I decided to stay here until midnight at least. By then the trains would stop running, and even Yua wouldn't be able to stay out that late. It'll be another 4 hours until midnight. If I play some ESO, the time would fly, bud. I looked over at the monitor. My second character, Lizalot, is just standing there, doing nothing.
お前の見ている景色は本物か
I remember what Senna said. Over half of what she told me was true. The one thing I hadn't been able to find a source for was that stuff controlling people's will, or their bodies. Maybe that part was just Senna's illusion. Mixing a little lie with the truth was something that blackmailers and other people who wanted to make threats often did because it worked. I knew that, at least in my head, but after all the strange things that have been happening to me lately over the past few weeks, I still couldn't help but feel scared. I stared at Lizelette on the screen.
リーゼロって、お前の見ている景色は本物か。
I whispered so that nobody around me could hear. I thought about something similar a bunch of times. Base Lord Lizelette world, the world I was looking at right now, was real to her, but to me it was fake. Which meant that the person controlling me was seeing my world, and it was fake too. Is he talking about me? Look, man, Taku. Fuck you. I can do whatever I want. If you gonna suffer, deal with it. But just as Lizelette couldn't see her controller because he was in a higher dimension, I couldn't see the person controlling me either. Did Lizelette ever think about things like this? She couldn't even move unless I told her to. So what about me? Could I even get out of this reclining seat if the person controlling me didn't want me to? Nope. You're gonna have to stay there. I tried to stand up just to see if I could. I succeeded easily. That's because I told him to. Then I tried sitting down. I did it without difficulty. Was what I just did done of my own will? Or was the person controlling me telling me what to do? I didn't have any way to tell.
Eh?
I heard the sound of the door to my booth opening. I sensed somebody coming in. I turned around. It was Yua Kusanoki. I was so scared I tried to scream. But Yua put her hands on my mouth. Her hand was warm, and the scent for sweat hit my nostrils.
黙って。声を出さないで。出さないって約束して。約束してくれるよね。しないなんて言わないよね。約束して。するでしょ。するの。お願い。
Senna! Senna-tan! The booth was tiny. Yua blocked the only exit. The next thing I knew, she pinned my shoulders with incredible strength. I couldn't get up from the seat. Her cold gaze pierced me from point-blank range. I looked away, unable to bear her gaze, and saw the 3 ghetto froggies on the shoulder bag.
いい。声を出さないで。
Senna-tan! Her hand slowly moved away. I tried to shout, but she put her hands over my mouth again. I couldn't breathe.
どうして声を出すの？約束したのに。
I didn't promise shit.
したよね。したって言って。したでしょ。したよ。
I couldn't believe the strength in her grip. She was pressing on my jaw with incredible strength. My fear reached its peak and my knees started to buckle. All I could do was nod desperately as she spoke to me in her cold voice. She finally weakened her grip, but she didn't let go like she'd done a moment ago. Shit, she was a real stalker. How had she found me here? No, it wasn't that hard to figure out. The first day I met her, I seen her too. She was watching me from room 36. Trying to hide here was hopeless. How could I have been so stupid?
ごめんなさい。
Yeah, she got mixed personalities, bruh. I kinda like that. She whispered softly enough that nobody around us could hear. Her voice was weak and powerless again. It was like she had 2 personalities. This woman was crazy.
驚かせちゃいましたよね。でも、西条くんとお話しするには、こうするしかなかったんです。
Dang, his delusions didn't work. I was trying to use the delusion to help me get out of the situation. It works sometimes, but not this time. She looked so apologetic that she actually made me feel a little guilty. She was one hell of an actress.
昨日あなたの家に行ったんですけど、いませんでしたよね。夜まで待ってたんですけど。でも私を避けようとする西条くんの気持ちはよくわかります。私西条くんのこと騙してたわけだし。
If you know that, then just leave me alone. Then just leave me alone. I had nothing to say to one of Shogun's servants, particularly the sort of awful person who tried to trick and trap someone as helpless as me.
でもお願いです。
I wonder if you have to D-sword, can you read people's mind?
一つだけ言わせてください。
I think you was the only girl that can't read his mind. I guess Nanami too, if you count her. But Senna and Rimi, they could read Taku's mind, but the other girls can't.
これ以上あなたが傷つくのもあなたが不幸になるのもあなたのせいで不幸になる人が出るのも見たくないんです。
I thought Yua had a sword already, but I guess not. That means Rimi and Senna is the one with the sword, because they could read Taku's mind. What was she talking about? She was making it sound like she knew everything about me. She hadn't even spent a full day with me. Oh, and fuck, I always forget the other girl name. Fess. She can read. Can she read Taku's mind? I don't remember. We only interacted with her like one time. What could she possibly understand? Was this another of her crazy delusions? I started to flail my limbs about in fear, but Yua wouldn't let go. She might kill me at this rate. Had Shogun given up on trying to trap me and sent Yua as an assassin instead? I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
ごめんなさい。お願いだから静かにしてください。
Oh my gosh, she's killing Taku.
話はすぐ終わりますから。
Her voice was shaking, but her hands were so strong and holding me so tightly that I couldn't even move. I couldn't believe her tiny hands could have so much power.
西条くん。
She got closer. I desperately looked away.
もう
Suddenly I realized her hands were shaking. Or was my shaking just being transferred red to her hands? Then she said something I couldn't believe.
人を殺すのはやめてください。
What?
自覚がないんですね。でもそれも私には理解できます。西条くんに自覚があるはずないから。
What was she saying?
あなたは
There was a sadness in her eyes. She's been staring straight at me, and suddenly her gaze turned downward.
DID 多重人格なんです。
I had multiple personalities.
最初はあなたのこと警察に突き出すつもりでした。
I don't remember the twist. I don't know what you were saying is real. She might be talking about herself. Or Taku might have DID, like you said. We did saw Taku sleepwalk. She kept talking despite my confusion.
それが無理ならこの手でとも思ってました。だけど
What?
あなたのこと調べていくうちにあなたも苦しんでるんだって分かって。
Her eyes were looking into mine again. They were pleading with me. And the way it seemed like she was really worried about me. It made me shiver.
私あなたを助けたい。
Her delusion was getting out of control. Nothing she said made any sense. Wait, really? Did it really not make sense?
だから病院に行きましょう。
I didn't understand myself. I used the nickname Shogun in the chat without even knowing it. I was friends with a girl named Rimi without having any memories of her. Maybe I wasn't sleepwalking. Maybe there was some being from a higher dimension controlling me. Maybe the person controlling me was in fact inside my head the whole time. I'm sorry, Taku. And me who wasn't me. Another personality who wasn't me. Multiple personalities. My head ached. There was a painful stinging in my temples. This was impossible. It couldn't be true. I wasn't going to believe it. It was just the delusions of Yua's. She was my enemy. She was getting in my way. She was trying to trap me. She was trying to destroy my mind. And the hospital was under Shogun influence too. The one person I could trust, Dr. Takashina, had disappeared so suddenly that I knew something must have happened to him. Shogun must have killed him. If I did what Yua said, I'll be killed too. There was no way I was going to believe this woman. I don't believe her. 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 I like that. I think that's a Japanese thing. Whenever there's some psychological stuff happening, they like to have their characters repeat the words 10 times. And it's not even just Japanese. I think that's an Asian thing. Because I feel like I've seen that in like Southeastern Asian dramas. Where they just keep repeating shit. And then you see in the writing, they just like they write something and they repeat it like 10,000 times. Making it look like they're going crazy. I think that's just an Asian thing. Do they do that in Western films? I don't know. I don't watch too much psychological or scary movies. Well, Western stuff. My brain shut down. I pushed her as hard as I could. Yeah, she's not that strong. She fell back into the wooden partition door and collapsed to the ground in pain. Finally free from her grip, I grabbed my bag and stepped over her into the corridor. She grabbed my ankle, still crouched on the ground. Her hair was a mess, and her glasses had slid down onto her nose. She was clinging to me as hard as she could. I was so scared, I let out a miserable scream. She was my enemy. She was working with Shogun. I wouldn't let her fool me. I wouldn't let her fool me again. I screamed and she let go. I ran while I had the chance. I slammed down the $50 bill from my wallet into the counter in front of the astonished clerk. Then I ran to the elevator outside without even waiting for my change. When I hit the ground floor, I dashed outside. The sun had already set. I looked around. There were so many people around me. Hey, that girl. I've been watching a lot of Chainsaw Man. That girl in the middle. The NPC with the suit. Don't she look like Makina? It's only the hair color. She would fit in Chaos Head. Run. I just had to run. It was too dangerous to go back to the base. She followed me there. I started to run without even knowing where I should go. She was inspired by that NPC. Makes sense. Makes sense why she's crazy as hell too. The thought of Yua coming out of the other elevator any second now and threatening me with her cold voice made me feel like I needed to get out of there as soon as possible. I ran and ran, stopped again and looked again. I stopped again and again to look behind me. The other pedestrians kept getting in my way. I slammed into Salaryman and DQN looking high school girls. Each time they cursed at me. But I ignored them and kept running. It hurts to breathe. I chose my path randomly, so I didn't even know where I was. I stopped to catch my breath. Then I looked around at my surroundings. Excuse me. I was in front of Maruchi building. I was close enough to Miyashita Park that I could escape there. I rest a little and then keep running. If I could get to Yayogi Park, there'd be any number of places to hide. Maybe I could spend the night there. I couldn't stop worrying about whether or not Yua was following me. I couldn't see her anymore. but she might show up at any second with that placid, emotionless face of hers. Placid. My instincts drove me forward. Run. Run. When I made it to the bridge at Miyashita Park, I flopped right down onto the ground. I ran so much my throat was parched. I wanted an ice-cold soda. He doesn't drink water. He don't believe in water. He only believes in Coke. I don't see any vending machines nearby. Maybe I ran enough that I was safe now. And I couldn't be sure. I kept a careful eye on my surroundings. I assumed Miyashita Park would be pretty empty at night, but that didn't seem to be the case. I saw a salaryman walking quickly through the park, taking a shortcut to his way home, an older man sitting on the bench and playing on his cell phone. And a group of homeless men were sitting together, and a man in blue was talking to them, a policeman. Okay. What does green look like? I never chose this. We don't need this. You don't need that, Taku. You only need to suffer, bro. Damn, this is insane. I like that. The bass, the sub bass is insane on these headphones. This shit's like, it's like speakers, honestly. Cause I remember I turned the speakers all the way up when I was watching some anime, with binging, and then the room shake, bro. I remember I was watching Lord of the Rings, and then whenever they get to a fucking fight scene, the entire room shakes. That's how I felt with these headphones, with the sub bass. It shakes. I don't like that. It does rock your core. I gulped. These two policemen had talked to me before, hadn't they? I hadn't heard anything from them. They said they sent someone to watch the area around the base, but nothing had come of it. Mizumi has said they come to school though. What were their names again? I couldn't remember. I told them exactly what I'd seen during the crucifying incident, but looking back, something of their expression had made it clear they were pretty suspicious. Suddenly, the police officer standing by the homeless man looked over at me. At least, it felt like he did. No way. Oh, fuck! Taku powers are already activating! You know when he has delusions, right? The screen gets hazy. It's not hazy. You usually see like a flash, right? Like something's happening. It's not doing that. Wait a minute. Terrible thoughts came to me. He doesn't even have his sword though. His powers is activating without the sword. I stood up and looked around once more. When did it start? Like around Senna, right? When I chose the red decision with Senna, only bad thoughts happened, right? It didn't happen in reality. So his delusion turns to reality when he met Senna. Probably before that. Probably with Rimi, right? I probably wasn't paying attention too hard. That far back. The man on the bench with the phone was glancing at me, or so it seemed. Oh fuck, maybe I should have chose green. Just now, a tough-looking man had come into the park and leaned up against a fragile-looking pipe fence, then spread out a paper to read. Here, in a dark place with almost no streetlight, the salaryman who's been walking so quickly through the park was now on the edge of the bridge, staring down the street below. Oh! He's gonna jump! The officer who'd been talking to the homeless people was now looking at me and speaking into his radio. A cold sweat began to drip down my back. Maybe they were all detectives. Maybe they were all telling me. If so, I was completely surrounded. Yua had decided that I was the killer. What if she taking her delusions to the police? I whispered, soft enough that nobody could hear me. Was this part of Shogun plot? I didn't do it. I didn't kill anybody. It wasn't me. How come a wimp like me is being chased by the police as a murderer? Why did I have to get caught up in Yua's megalomania? I had to get out of here. My heart was still beating fast and unsteadily, but I had to run. I walked over to the bridge, trying to look as natural as possible. In front of me was a bridge heading to Meiji Street. I go down it and then escape into Meiji Street. When I got to the middle of the bridge, someone new appeared on the far side of it. It was a woman in a business suit. Oh, it's that girl we saw in the last scene. She had a phone up to her ear and she was walking up the stairs with a blank look on her face. Was she a detective too? My heart was racing as I passed by her.
その目誰の目っていう T シャツが流行ってるわよ。今度の日曜日に買いに行くわ。原宿の竹下通りに売っているから。
What the fuck? Something felt wrong. The way she spoke was strange and awkward. It sounded like she was an actor, putting on a performance. Who was she talking to on the phone? Was she talking to anybody at all? But in the end, she didn't do anything as I passed by. I made it safely to the stairs, then looked back at the park. The police officer wasn't following me. He was still standing in the same spot, saying something to his radio. One of the homeless people was just standing up, the other didn't move. The man on the bench and the man with the paper had both stood up and were walking toward me. They both gave each other a glance. They were signaling to each other. At least that's what it looked like. I looked at the woman again. We just passed each other, but now she turned to look toward me. When our eyes met, she seemed startled and looked away. Her phone was still to her ear, and she wasn't talking. I ran down the stairs, overcome by an indescribable fear. As I headed down Meiji Street toward the station, I looked up at the bridge. The woman was leaning over the railing and pointing at me. The two men were running across the bridge. They were detectives after all. They were all with the police. Shit. It was your fault. She set me up. Should I proclaim my innocence? But right now, I was running for the police. They were probably just going to try and frame me anyway. They wouldn't believe a creepy otaku like me. I don't have time to think about what would happen next. For now, I just need to get away from you and the police. That's what one desire was only thing driving me. I ran through the underpass and ended up the stair on the pedestrian bridge. People kept getting in my way and blocking me. I started to wonder if they were doing it deliberately. Everybody started looking like a detective. I was on the verge of panic. I looked back and saw somebody chasing me. I got a glimpse of them moving through the crowds, just like I was. It was one of the people I seen at the park. I couldn't tell which, but they were chasing me. I shuddered. If they caught me here, my life was over. I'd be given the death penalty for the crime I didn't commit, put in jail for decades, endure a living hell for years, and then they say, okay, it's time for you to die. Please, no, I couldn't handle that. I didn't want to. I didn't want that to be my life. Even if I was found innocent in the end, once you were branded a criminal, they didn't disappear. Nobody would ever trust me again. Please, no, I didn't do anything. I ducked into a small side of the alley, kept running as fast as I could. But since I've been running ever since I left At Cafe, I quickly ran out of breath. My lungs were desperate for oxygen. My legs were could barely move from exhaustion. I regretted not exercising more. It was far too late for that now. Oh! I thought the controller was going to fall down. Finally, I stopped, leaning forward with my hands on my knees and panting. I couldn't run anymore. I was in a place I could recognize. The distinctive red brick exterior. The big lit-up sign reading Gigantus. I come here once with Mizumi. Back then, I could come see Phantasm concert, more specifically the lead singer Fess. Now, it was quiet and seemingly empty. Only the feeble light of the single vending machine illuminated the front of the building. I glanced back at the path I came from, annoyed that my breathing wasn't going back to normal. It was a dark and narrow alley. The Toyoko line train passed right above me. The light streamed from the car windows, shining bright against the night, but even that light failed to reach the darkness just beneath it. I squinted into the night. Had I ditched the police and Yua? It was too dark to see. His face. I heard a voice right next to my ear and let out a pathetic scream as I fell back. Oh! Oh, I forgot to do on Yua. Fuck! You do on you next time. Alright. Sorry, lingerie. What was her original clothes? Oh, fuck, wrong button. I just want to see. I like her outfit. It was Fest. She was dressed in an elaborate outfit she wore for her concerts. As she quietly stood above me in the darkness, there was a sense of fragility about her that hadn't been there when I saw her on stage. It was too dark to guess at the look of her face. As I sat there, too shocked to move, Fess offered me a hand.
だって早く
Her voice was calm, but there was power in it. She slowly turned her head, her hand still stretched out to me, as if to see whatever was beyond the darkness.
逃げないと
I think she's best girl, right? She's the only one that's... I guess Senna and Rimi. It's just Yua. Yua's kind of helping him too. And I guess Nanami, huh? I guess they're all pretty good. How? Did she know I was being chased by Yua and the police? For a moment, I was cautious. But right now, I had no choice but to trust her. I grabbed it and clung tightly. Her hand was cold. As I stood, she started to run. I was angry because of how exhausted I was, but if it weren't for Fess, I might have stayed there until the police caught me. I wanted some water, but I knew there wasn't time. Fess kept pulling me onward. We went down narrow alleys, turning at one intersection after another. I no longer had any idea where I was going. I barely knew the layout of Shibuya anyway. At this point, I just had to keep following Fess. Part of me thought for a minute that this might be a trap of Shogun, but I brushed the thought away. Even if Fess was working for Shogun, there was nothing I could do at this point. My leg muscles were filled with lactic acid, and all the running must have kept my brain from getting enough oxygen, because I felt like I was on the verge of passing out. I just stopped myself from telling Fess that I couldn't run anymore. Actually, I might have said it a bunch of times without realizing it. But Fess just kept running, without even looking back at me once. The next thing I knew, we were on the path directly beneath the highway. We were close to Shibuya Station, but there weren't many people here at all. Fess headed down the stairway that led into the darkness. I felt like she knew exactly where she was going. When we got to the very bottom, she finally stopped. I let go of her hand. I grabbed onto the stairway handrail, panting for breath. How much running had I done today? I wasn't sure if I ever exercised so much in my life. Oh. 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 For a while, the only sound in the dark, gloomy underground corridor were the sounds of our breathing. I looked up at the stairway entrance. Nobody had followed us. Had we gotten away? Okay. Change it back. That said, I've never seen this little underground corridor before. It was close to the station, but there was nobody here. One of the lights illuminating the tunnel was on the verge of burning out. It was constantly flashing on and off. There was a faint smell of rotting garbage. The place seemed to symbolize the underground side of Shibuya. If somebody attacked you here, you could scream and nobody would notice. It wasn't a place that I want to come to alone. Nah, we trust Fest, right? Ah, fuck you, Taku. Sorry. Still panting for breath, I look over at Fest. There was the underground indie singer, who was beloved by all the youth of Shibuya. Nah, we trust Fest, right? We can always go neutral. But that's boring. No one wanna go neutral, right? You want chaos. The one they even called a prophet. And here she was, with a creepy otaku like me. It felt kinda weird. Damn, what about the romance? No. Chaos. Beads of sweat had formed on her forehead, running in rivulets down her face. She was wiping them away with the back of her hand. I could see part of her bare chest. Oh! I want to see! Inside her jacket, peeking out above the camisole she wore. It was heaving up and down with each breath she took. For all of her languid demeanor, there was something about her body that felt sexy and alive. It wasn't really moe, it was sexy. Probably was the best word for it. Is this a delusion? Oh, not a delusion! Damn, I'm sorry, Fess. Maybe next time. Fess was hot. Mizumi was right when he said so before. You couldn't really tell when she wore her school uniform, but in this outfit, it was obvious. You think she could read his mind? Look. Take the compliment. Alright. Holy fuck. Dude. Wow. She's pretty good. Damn, she kept the necklace. She is pretty good. She was tall and her breasts were just the right size. And she had a curvy waist too. Oh man. Her breasts the right size. I guess it is pretty normal. Not too flat. Not too big. Alright. And then there were her legs, shown off beneath her miniskirt. Bro, she can read your mind! She's staring at Taku, thinking he's trash. They were long and well-toned. She looked like a model. The girl with proportions like hers might look great in a competition swimsuit. No, wait a second. A school swimsuit might be better. The cool, cold Fess in a school swimsuit. That would create the perfect gap between costume and persona. Wait, why was I thinking about this now? I nodded. It was just the police, but you were too. But I was too tired to explain that. Huh? What did that mean?
私が書いた歌詞と何とかって呼ばれてる事件との関係についてだってしつこく聞かれたわ。
Oh my god. I like it when she looks angry. Hey, this character's pretty good. NewGen. Fest lyrics match every one of the cases. That's why her believers all said the same thing, and she was a prophet.
私疑われてるみたい。
That's a NewGen killer, huh? I had too, when I learned about her lyrics for the first time. I thought she might be Shogun. But since she saved me, that actually might not be true. What was Fest doing there, though? It was just blind luck that she'd been there to save me, right? It was right in front of the concert hall, so maybe she had a concert today.
君が追われてるのはなぜ？何か悪いことでもしたの？
作られた。あの女、僕のこと作ったんだ。ニュージェネ犯人にされる。
You would try to get me arrested. Damn it, she and Shogun were on the verge of destroying my life.
そう。容疑者候補ね。私たち。
Oh! She's cute! Oh my god! Taco! Awesome. How could she be laughing? I got so excited I yelled. My voice echoed loudly throughout the tunnel, but I couldn't control myself anymore.
事件を目撃しただけだ。証拠品を勝手に持ち帰っちゃったけど、それだけ。僕殺
それなら
Fest's voice regained its calmness.
きっとそれは導きなのよ。
While she's blushing.
大いなる存在による。
Another crazy chick! Another lunatic!
君の見たものが事実だったか幻だったかは些細なこと。
That terrible, awful scene was an illusion. Was that possible? It was so real. Oh, that's why it comes back. Remember the KG scene, the detective scene? You know, in the detective debriefing phase, they said the body had no blood. But what Taku saw, he saw the body had blood. So what Taku saw was a delusion. What he saw wasn't real.
君が今抱いている苦しみや怒りは必要なものだったということよ。
What was she talking about? I was disappointed. I kind of realized she was crazy when I seen her at the concert, but I hadn't realized it was this bad. They say there's a fine line between genius and crazy, but...
だから早く見つけて剣を見つけて。
I guess. That's what she said at school before. Find it, and you'll be saved. That's what she said before. The police were scary, but Shogun and servants were even scarier. I didn't know why, but they were clearly trying to trap me. And if I was going to save myself from them, if I was going to protect myself, I needed...
ディソード。
そうよ。
Fest's lips curled into a smile.
勉強したみたいね。
それなら手に入れた。僕はディソードも持ってる。今家に。
知ってるわ。
You know? How do you know?
見たから。君が渋谷のど真ん中を歩いていたの。大きなおもちゃを抱きしめて恥ずかしそうにしてたわね。
I didn't know she saw Taku. She was talking about the day I brought the D sword. I can't believe she's seen me. No, hang on. What had Fest just said?
おもちゃ。
Oh, toy. The smile was gone from her face. She glanced at me for a moment and then sighed. The air of Inoue about her was so strong, I was starting to get nervous.
偽物だと思うわ。あなたの買った剣は。
I wasn't that surprised. It was exactly what I expected to hear, actually. Compared to the sword that Senna had, mine looked incredibly cheap, and it didn't glow either. Anyway, Fest had told me that this was the sword that was going to save my life. The idea was just on sale for 10,000 yen next to a bunch of sex toys were just too lame to be real. So I wasn't that surprised. Instead, I felt violently angry. Angry at the gloomy looking shop clerk who tricked me. Angry at myself for being stupid enough to fall for it. Angry at Fest for saying all those important sounding things without actually telling me anything useful. I stood up and stormed over to Fest. Normally I'd never be able to do something like that, but right now I was desperate. My encounter with Yua and the police has scared me to death. And not only that, I've been through absolute hell in the past month or so. I was sick of it. If I was going to go back to my normal life, I needed that sword.
教えてよ。ディソード。どうやって手に入れるのか。
The look on Fest's face became very serious as she turned towards me.
見て。
She held out her right palm for me to see. Then she motioned for me to stop getting closer as she made a fist. Then she flung her arm back with a sound like breaking glass. The empty air cracked and shattered. My eyes went wide in shock. Fest stared at me, her expression unchanging. Beyond the cracks in space, I could see a deep darkness. Fest stuck her hand in between the cracks and pulled hard. That's pretty cool. That was cooler than the anime. Isn't that fucked up? Why is the visual novel cooler than the anime? What the hell? And who did the anime? I think it was Madhouse, wasn't it? I don't remember. But Madhouse is goated. I don't remember who did the Chaos Head anime. Whoever they did, they fucked up, bro. They need to redo it. And
Sword.
whoa, that was cool. The crack in space was purred almost instantly. It disappeared as if it never been there. The whole thing only took only a few seconds. Was that a magic trick or just a delusion I seen? I couldn't believe what just happened in front of my very eyes. It didn't feel real. This was something out of a fantasy or an anime.
この剣は命運を握るもの。
That's cool. This sword was the one that Fess was waving around during her concert. The one I thought was a mic stand. It was shaped like those battleships you see in every sci-fi anime.
この剣は嘆きを収束させたもの。
Damn, I never realized it. It does look like a spaceship, huh? Like the anime spaceships. There wasn't a single straight edge on the whole thing, but it was sharp, beautiful, and terrible.
この剣は超越した場所に干渉するためのもの。
You know, Fess is... I never really noticed her too much in the anime. But impressions so far in the visual novel, she's the coolest character. I like her a lot. It felt like touching it would cut your fingers clean off.
超越した場所って
I couldn't look away. My eyes were locked on Fess D's sword. I couldn't help but ask.
異空間のようなもの。 This game is awesome. Another space? The whole thing was turning into an anime. 同一次元上にあるもう一つの可能性。あるいは妄想。
Delusions.
言い方にあまり意味はないわ。唯一確かなの。この剣もその領域に存在しているということ。
Did that mean that the D sword was a product of Fess delusions? The impossible scene I just witnessed was a delusion? It didn't exist in reality.
そんなのありえない。
そう。
If Fess sword was a delusion, how could I see it?
言葉に引きずられてはダメよ。後ろを振り返ってみて。
I was confused at Fess sending the man, but obey. Behind me was the stairs and also... What? What the fuck? Fess was standing there wearing a school swimsuit. How did she...
ああ
What? The DLC's not working. Fess was beside me, and Fess was in front of the stairs. There were two of the same person in the same place, and the one wearing a school swimsuit. Shocked, I looked back and forth, from one to the other. Their face, build, hair, everything was the exact same. The only difference was their clothes and whether they were holding a sword or not. They were they weren't twins or anything like that. They didn't just look alike. They were exactly the same. I've seen lots of girls in their swimsuits in H games, but this was totally different. Fess was standing in this filthy tunnel in a school swimsuit. It even said Kishimoto on marker on the chest. Totally moe. It was such an incredible situation that my head was spinning. I knew I shouldn't look, but I kept glancing at it anyway. It took a lot of effort to look down so I couldn't see.
ごめん。
I found myself apologizing. This was just what I've been imagining in my delusions a few minutes ago. Fast wearing a school swimsuit.
君が望んだ妄想。
What? Which one's real? Both of them spoke the same words at the same time. I gulped. My face was turning red at incredible speed. I had to come up with an excuse. I had to come up with some kind of lie. If a 3D girl labeled you a pervert, you were finished. You'd be banished from society. Wait, no. That was important. But more importantly, what the hell was going on here? You know, this game's what, 2007? What Taku said is absolutely true. This age, like fine wine, the power, whatever, bro. It's true though. What happened? That's it. Let's see. What time is it? I wonder if we should keep going. My voice still kind of hurt. Oh. I think it's a good stopping point. Let's call it here. My voice hurts. How did Taku do that? Did he do that? He doesn't have his sword yet. And he can still use the powers. That's pretty cool. But, damn, that was nice. I like that scene a lot. There was a lot of good scenes. It's getting iconic now. AKA, it's going with the anime now. Senna, Fess. And now the other characters are coming out the woodworks too. Excuse me. With that, I appreciate everyone that stopped by. It's been cool. We'll play more Chaos Head later. Bye.